and welcome to Legal Affairs. My name is Diamond Liddy, and I'm the public defender for the 19th Judicial Circuit. We are going to be talking about one of the most exciting and interesting and family-oriented events that we've had for how many years now?
This is the fifth year.
Fifth year, but it's getting ready to come up on April 27th. And with us, we are very lucky to have Doug Farrell. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning.
To tell us all about it. Now, Doug, we need some background first, because although you're the chair of the, and I didn't even mention what we were going to talk about, the Saint Lucie County, but it's going to be held in Saint Lucie West Safety Festival. And we're going to go into what all that is in just a minute, and what you have to do and what time it is and where, blah, blah, blah. But before we do that, let's talk about you for a minute. You've been here in the area, Doug, forever.
40 years.
Okay.
A lot longer than I thought.
Yes, yes. And actually, we were talking before the show started, some of your background with TV and WTVX and everything. And give us a little nutshell version of where you've been, what you've done, and what you're doing now.
Well, I spent about 20 years at Channel 34, WTVX.
Oh, gosh.
Back in the old days when it was located here in Fort Pierce.
Right.
And ultimately, we moved the station to West Palm Beach with the new ownership and everything, and went through the transition from CBS to an independent, Warner Brothers and Paramount affiliates, and
wow, I didn't even know all that.
Then the station was sold again, and back in 1995, when we sold the station, I was the general manager at the time, and it was you either move to another market or you find something else to do.
Wow.
And so that's when we opened up DLF Media, the advertising agency, and for the last 25 years, we've been doing that.
Okay, and again, advertising me. What you do? What for who? And
DLF Media is a full-service advertising agency. We produce tons of TV commercials, radio commercials, create media plans, marketing of all aspects, from rack cards to political campaigns, billboards,
right.
And we're very fortunate. We deal with some of the best people.
Of course you do.
We've got long-standing relationships with a lot of people, and as we're moving into next year's political season, it's, as you might imagine, it's very, very active.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
well, and your connections and the fact that you're homegrown basically makes you so successful.
Well,
obviously.
it certainly helps after 40 years, and if
Sure.
you don't know a few of the people around town, you haven't been around town.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we're very fortunate.
Okay, so let's talk about why you're here. 5 years ago, actually, the Safety Festival, and this is so important. I'm so glad that we're going to showcase this today, because for parents, for children, it's such a great thing to see. You know, obviously we all want to be safe, and we want our families to be safe. But there's so much more than just locking your door and turning on an alarm if you're fortunate enough to have one, or you know, making sure you look around in an unlighted parking lot when you're getting in your car. I mean, those are the basic things, but there's so much more to it than that. So let's go back 5 years ago when you got this idea.
Well, it kind of came about, you know, strangely.
Right.
You know, it's a lot of news about a lack of respect for law enforcement, and a lot of negative interaction between first responders, and not just in our community, nationwide. I mean,
right.
Back when I was a kid, your parents taught you to respect law enforcement, and
Yeah.
if you got lost, you found a cop. You had a problem, you found a cop.
Right.
It's not so much the way today. So knowing a lot of the first responders, 5 years ago, we decided it was time to bring them more into the community. And, you know, some of the things you talked about, people are aware that, you know, you see the police cars, see the fire trucks, but what do they really do?
Right.
And nobody wants to experience a SWAT team.
And just, you know, again, I talk in basic terms. I don't use legal language, so you know, because SWAT stands for what?
Well, it's the highest level of protection
right.
for the sheriff's department the police department. It's the highly trained individuals that go in
Right.
to do the hostage rescues and things along those lines.
Okay.
And me personally, I'd never seen one.
Right.
And we started the Safety Fest to showcase what the first responders do. And we sat down.
And let me stop you there. How do you define first responders?
The first responders, typically, it's the law enforcement. It's
Right.
It's the simple analysis is the sheriff, police department, fire department.
Right. Right.
But as we started putting together the Safety Fest, we found out it's a lot deeper than that.
Right. Right.
And it amazes me every single year, and even this year, we've expanded again tremendously from what has been in the past. But when we look at the lineup of who we have coming this year, the health department, public safety, emergency management, school board is going to be out there with buses and what they're doing for the kids in school safety. And,
Oh, goodness, that's great.
I mean, it literally across the board from swimming pool safety and drown proofing and some of the things we do out here for the people that attend is live demonstrations.
Well, let's talk about that because I know you're real excited
Well,
about
the
some-
demonstrations are impressive.
Yeah.
And what people need to realize, these aren't because we have to get it done in 15 minutes.
Right, right.
This isn't exactly how law enforcement operates in a real life situation.
Right, right.
But it gives people an indication of what these guys are doing. And on the 27th, we're going to kick things off with a live demonstration. The first thing we're going to do is introduce the Boys and Girls Club dance team.
Yeah.
And they'll do a little skit for 5 minutes before we get into the live action.
Right.
At 10 o'clock, the Fort Pierce Fire District is going to burn a trailer. They have a burn trailer. And they go through the dynamics of how long it takes rescue to get to your house and how fast this flame engulfs a unit. And the purpose is to let you know about the importance of smoke detectors, sprinkler systems, and things along those lines.
Well, and how quickly a fire can get out of hand and kill people.
Well, this has got two sides to the trailer. One side doesn't have the prevention, doesn't have the smoke detectors, doesn't have the sprinklers, and within a couple minutes it's gone. All the furniture is completely burned up, it's gone. The other side has got smoke alarms and sprinklers. And by the time the fire department arrives, they can salvage your house.
Wow. How impressive.
Very, very dramatic. The fire gets to 1,500 degrees. I mean, it's
right.
They don't have to tell people to step back because once that thing engulfs, it's hot.
Right.
It's very, very hot. But this year we've got a new one that the sheriff is doing. His bomb disposal unit is coming out to do a demonstration on what they do if they find a potential bomb or whatever. And they've got the robots that are coming out and doing their thing, which is going to be, it's the first time we've done it, and it's pretty cool to see these things.
Well, let me stop you there. The Sheriff's Department has, see, I did not know that. The Sheriff's Department actually has robots. Are there robots that help?
There are robots that help, and fortunately the police have the same.
Okay.
They're also going to be doing a demonstration with their robots, and it's the new technology is what it's all about. But the sheriff's bringing out his SWAT team, his dive team, his K9 unit, his bomb unit, and the people that come out can interact with all the first responders.
Right.
You can come out and meet the sheriff, you can meet the fire chief, you can meet the police chief. They're all on site to answer your questions. Superintendent's there with his team to talk about what they're doing to keep kids safe on school buses and in the school system.
Superintendent of Saint Lucie County School System, who is?
Wayne Gent,
right.
Superintendent of the public school system.
Right,
there.
right.
And so we've got a Jaws of Life demonstration. And again, you never want to be the victim that's caught in an accident where they have to cut you out.
Right.
But when you see it, and these firefighters come out there with their saws and they literally cut the car apart, it's pretty impressive.
And they do that. That is a live demonstration.
It's a live demonstration.
Wow.
And then we take it to the extreme because they actually take the victim out of the car, put the victim on a gurney, and take her to a helicopter. We have air rescue on site also, the helicopter.
Gosh.
And 2 years ago, we flew the victim to Saint Lucie Medical Center. So the helicopter and everything, which is pretty cool. And this year, the Port St. Lucie Police Department have a new drone unit. Again, technology.
Right.
And they're going to do a SWAT drone combo demonstration. And we were talking about it yesterday. Don't even know the details on it yet.
Right.
But the drone will fly in and identify weapons or personnel or whatever the case may be. And the purpose of this is, if they're going to do a breach, go into somebody's house in a hostage situation, rather than sending a deputy in, they can send a drone in. So the drone may get damaged, but somebody doesn't get shot.
Right.
You know, which again, it's the technology. Each year we do this. You know, it amazes me because the new technology and all the things that these guys are doing to keep the community safe. And,
Sure.
and they also bring out and have static displays. They've got everything laying out.
They have what?
Static displays.
Oh, okay.
So the Port St. Lucie Police, they've got all their armored vests, and kids can put them on. I mean, I see the deputies all the time are putting these bulletproof vests on the kids and stuff, and they've all got their canines out there, so you can interact with the canines.
Oh, gosh.
To see these canines in action, you know, whether they're drug sniffing,
Yeah, bomb sniffing.
whatever, they
Right.
come out there, and a couple of years ago they lined up, 25 or 30 people, and then one of them had marijuana or whatever in their pocket.
Oh!
I mean, it was staged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was staged. It was staged. And so the canine went in, sniffed all the people, and sat down in front of the person with the drugs. I mean, it's baffling.
Incredible. Yeah, they are
so,
incredible.
So the demonstrations are very, very impressive from every aspect. They're entertaining. They're dramatic. They're powerful, and it's what these guys do.
Right.
And it gives you a better appreciation of living. You know, Port St. Lucie is one of the safest cities in America. How?
Yeah.
Look at what these guys do every single day to keep the community safe. And Port St. Lucie Police Department just purchased a distracted driver simulator. It's going to be on site, so you can sit in a car, and they're going to talk to you about, cell phones and, texting and all that other kind of stuff that's out there as you're driving down the road. And so it's to
great.
prevent accidents, and unfortunately, we have kids that, school bus stops get hit every year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if we can get people to focus on, paying attention to what they're doing and not be distracted, then it helps.
Wow. Oh my God. Okay, so let's back up. What time first of all, where is it?
The event is at First Data Field, which is home of the Mets
Right.
in Port St. Lucie.
Right.
And it's out in Saint Lucie West, just off I-95. It's Saturday, April 27th. The events start at 9 a.m. and go until 2 or after. There's also a Mets baseball game that night. At
Oh,
5.
goodness.
Gates open up at 5:30, so people can hang out, all afternoon. It's free. It's free admission.
Well, that was my next question.
Free
Oh
admission,
my gosh.
free parking. We have bounce houses out there for the kids that are also free. There's face painting. There's, the event is free. And it's an opportunity for people to come out, find out what these guys are doing, learn how to protect your family.
Right.
With smoke detectors or
Well, and stick your teenager who's is probably texting and driving in the simulator,
Yep.
and wake their behinds up.
Well, with the increased growth we have here, we know there's going to be more cars on the road.
Right.
And with more cars, there's more accidents. So it's one of the big initiatives of the Port St. Lucie Police Department and the sheriff is to, pay attention to what's going on with these cars and eliminate the accidents, eliminate the speeding, and keep the road safe.
Right.
It's a big, big initiative, and it's when you look at all the different dynamics between the houses burning down and traffic safety and the bank robberies and everything else. The first responders have a full-time job. I mean, they're doing everything possible to keep the community safe, and the Safety Fest is really designed to showcase what they do and let people get a better appreciation for the hard work that they do.
Well, and the other thing is, what a wonderful venue and setting for children to come out and have a better comfort level, if you will, with law enforcement. That has to be one of the unintended consequences of this.
Well, it's amazing to see the kids come out and get pictures with the deputies.
Right.
The interaction. We have a lot of school resource officers out there, so kids are familiar with some of them.
Sure.
Parents
sure.
may not be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
Which
the
is
other
even
thing.
better, so the parents can meet some of the people that's out there. There's another aspect of the day is the Saint Lucie Reading Festival is also going on, and there's over 1,000 kids come in, exchange books, get books, learn, the reading and everything
Right,
else
right.
at the event. A lot of interaction goes back and forth, between the Safety Festival, the Reading Festival. We've got all the on-air personality, well, not all of them, but most of the on-air personality for Channel 25. The anchors are out here.
Oh, great.
And they're talking to the community. Justice TV is going to be on site this year, which we haven't had them in the past.
Okay.
But John Walsh's group and with a program about endangered children, which is important. And every topic you can imagine is being covered.
Well, yeah, I guess, obviously, I've been involved and followed what you've done and the success of it. When you first started 5 years ago, I mean, no, it was great. But, and let's talk about that for a minute. How many people came the first year, and how many do you expect this year?
Well, the numbers are always challenging because it's a flow. It changes throughout the day.
Right, right.
And we don't have a gate to walk through.
Right,
Because
right.
we're not charging admission or anything. So it's, we get the estimates from the first responders. And,
Right.
and year one, we probably had somewhere around 3,000 people.
Right.
Last year, we had somewhere between 15 and 20,000.
Oh my goodness! So you're expecting that, if not
We're
more.
expecting a big crowd. We've added a few other features also this year. It's we have a NASCAR going to be on site for the NASCAR fans. The number 88 Chevy, which is a Hendrick Motors vehicle.
Right.
Dale Hart Jr.'s car
Oh,
is going to be out
geez.
there with a simulator.
Right.
So people can sit in the simulator, drive the Daytona 500, which is kind of cool.
Boy, you've kicked it up. Oh,
We've got touch-a-trucks. We got bulldozers and brush trucks and fire trucks and ambulances and police cruisers and motorcycles that people can get on. The kids can climb on. Dads can climb on them. You see
Right.
a lot of dads
Yeah, I was going to say.
trying to get the kids up there, but it's
Yeah,
dads
they
want to
were-
sit on them.
Yeah, they really want to get on that motorcycle.
And we have the Marine Patrol out there. We have Fish and Wildlife, the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliaries on site, Florida Highway Patrol's on site, and all of them have got safety information.
Well, and all of them, you can ask questions, about certain issues
It's
too.
the interaction. And the first year we did it, Chief Bodick from Port Saint Lucie Police Department suggested that Fish and Wildlife. And to be honest with you, I didn't, what do they got to do with safety?
Yeah, right.
But everything they do is safety related.
Oh,
So-
boat safety,
They just-
manatee safety.
Well, they just grabbed an alligator, 7-foot alligator in Port St. Lucie. They was, so, I mean, when you don't think about safety all the
Right,
time,
right.
and you start looking at the extensions of what it's all about, virtually all these agencies are involved in some capacity of keeping this community safe, and it's pretty cool.
No, it's so funny when you said, what's that got to do with safety? I'm like, Doug, of course, if there's a water skier and some person's, speeding in a boat, they could get hurt or whatever.
Yeah, they've
That's
got the
the
gun.
first.
Yeah, they've got the gun safety and everything else. And at the time when I first started putting this thing together, I'm thinking sheriff, fire chief, police chief.
Oh, yeah,
and,
yeah.
and
But
not some of the other levels, but it just keeps expanding, and it's great because we literally want everybody there.
oh yeah, but I didn't finish my thought. What I was going to say is I'm thinking of being out on the ocean, safety, and boating under the influence, those things. When, yeah, the alligators. I mean, that's a big deal in Florida.
It's a big deal, and that 7-foot alligator was a big alligator.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
it's interesting, and each year that we do it, I learn something different. That's from the training that the SWAT guys use,
Right.
and little things like the number of bullets they go through on a monthly basis in training. I mean, it's things that you don't ever think about.
Which is, do you know the numbers?
I don't remember exact numbers,
but a
it's
lot.
Thousands. I mean, thousands.
Wow.
And so it's these guys are well trained. They stay up to speed on it every single day, and it's just impressive to sit around with these guys and how serious they all take their jobs.
Oh yeah.
It's not a matter of putting on a uniform and looking good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lifestyle that they've all embraced, and it's impressive to see.
Well, we're very blessed in this circuit, in this county, to have great law enforcement and people who do care, and yes, they're there to. Well, it's funny, this protect and serve concept. We have to get back to that, and we have to get our children back to that. That yes, they can arrest you if you break the law, and that's important, and that's one of their jobs. But that certainly isn't their main job. It certainly doesn't supersede everything else they do. They protect you. They arrest you if you do something wrong, and they serve you if you need their help. And as I said earlier, I think, and I'm not saying it was an unintended consequence, but obviously that is just one of the great things that will happen as a result, and has happened as a result of the Safety Fest, is that you get children, parents, and we talk about children being more comfortable with law enforcement. We got to get the parents more comfortable.
A lot of it's the parents. It's unfortunately in this day and age, we have a lot of dual working parents, a lot of latchkey kids, and they don't get the same interaction they used to,
Right.
40, 50 years ago.
Right.
And as I tell my kids and my grandkids, law enforcement tells you to stop, you stop.
Yeah.
You don't run away from them, you don't do anything. I mean, they're telling you to stop for a reason.
Right.
And if you obey what you're supposed to do, you alleviate a lot of headaches and a lot of problems that we're dealing with. And I know a lot of them, and they're good guys.
Right.
And that's really the key, is to understand that they're there to help, and they're there to serve and protect the community. And there's no reason to disrespect them. There's no reason to alienate them or anything else.
Right. Or be disrespectful or impolite.
But the interaction is, and Sheriff Mascara and Chief Spears, Chief Bodick, they all do a wonderful job of interacting in the community with other events as well. But this is the biggest event like this of its kind in South Florida. And,
I was going to say, I haven't heard of anything else like this.
There's a couple other communities that have tried to replicate it on a much smaller scale.
Right.
And it's challenging because we've got a lot of moving parts, and it develops.
Right.
And last year we had a pool out there we literally brought a swimming pool out there to teach, show some of the parents about how to protect kids in the water.
Right.
And the Kids Coalition is out there, and they're in the water, teaching the parents about drown proofing or the different aspects. And we've got lifeguards out there, and they're interacting with everybody, and all the various agencies inside the city and county government are on site to answer questions for people about how to do this or how to do that. Forestry Services
Right.
is out there. As long as we're not in a drought like we were last year, they're on site where they're brush trucks, which are impressive, and they're bulldozers, and you want to find out what they're going to do when these designated burns or whatever, and why they do them, and how come sometimes the trees are burnt, sometimes they're not.
Right.
They'll answer those questions for you because it's interesting. It's they can burn the trees or they cannot burn the trees. I mean, that's when they go in and do a designated burn. There's a purpose for what they're doing.
Yeah, and in ignorance, if you don't talk to somebody or ask the questions, you just think, how horrible. Why are we burning trees? Why are we doing that? Well, it's necessary.
It's necessary.
So we have more trees, you know.
It's absolutely necessary.
Oh, goodness. Well, now, people can, I know that you have all the demonstrations and all the various things you've been, gosh, Doug, I can't believe how you've kicked it up. Wow. But you also have, I don't want to say vendors.
Well, they're vendors. We have a lot of them are safety related, from fire extinguishers to, you name it, they're out there. A little
alarms.
A little bit of everything out there. But we're also, it's a community-wide event. I mean, it's we have a lot of other people out there from insurance, which is a safety mechanism to protect your property and stuff like that. We've got food vendors out there, so somebody wants to buy an ice cream cone or a hot dog or whatever. We're going to have, I think we've got 12 food trucks going to be on site for this thing because of the size of the crowd, and we've got right now 70-some vendors that's going to be on site with a variety of activities. A lot of them are interactive.
Right.
Because they want.
Well, you've got the bounce houses and stuff, but you've got more than.
Oh yeah, there's literally anything and everything. We've got some real estate people. We've got I've got a couple car dealers going to be on site, and with safety mechanisms that they have in today's vehicles.
Oh gosh. See, these are things you just don't. Yeah.
Somebody said to me, "Why would you bring a car dealer out there?" Well, look at the
safety features
the different features that are out there today, from the kids locks, right on through everything else, and so it's everything. To some degree, has got some safety twist to it.
Right. Right.
But we've got a big piece of property out there that outside the stadium that we use, and we incorporate all of it. It is a community-wide event, so we want people to be out there, and if there's businesses or nonprofits, we have multiple nonprofits. The Boys and Girls Club is on site, and Operation 300 and We Leap and several other nonprofits are on site. ARC is out there, so pass out information about the organizations and everything else, because again, it's a community-wide event. The theme is safety.
Yeah.
But it's much more than just the safety itself.
Well, but ultimately it all, kind of goes back to, the nonprofits help those who need help, who can't help themselves, and ultimately keep our communities safer.
It's a big part of it, and that's why we bring them in. And,
Right.
And it's important for them to have a platform that they can let people know what they do.
Right.
You may have heard about the Boys and Girls Club, but you may not know that they deal with over 15,000 kids here in St. Lucie County.
Right.
That they provide thousands of meals every day.
Every day.
And
yeah, I know.
it's pretty amazing for what they're doing here in the community. So it's important for them to have a platform that they can go out and pass out information. And they've got before and after school programs. They've got summer programs. So if you're a working parent, you got to find a safe place for your kids. Boys and Girls Club is one of the options. It's a good option to have.
Right.
So they're out there and they're very interactive with the event itself and one of the benefactors from the event. Which is important. We like to make sure they get recognition and generate some money for them as well.
Yes, and that's another thing near and dear to your heart. So I understand that. Believe it or not, we are almost out of time. But I guess the first question is, well, no. Let me make a comment first, and I say this a lot of times on the show and. If there are people that watch this, pretty religiously, which would be great, they've heard me say this before. But you mentioned earlier that people have tried to duplicate this, but really can't on the level that you have been able to do it. But it is once again the great collaboration and spirit and cooperation that all the agencies in the 19th Circuit in St. Lucie County have. I mean, we don't have the love, if you will, for each other and the admiration and the respect and the working relationship. No other place has what we have.
No, it's one of the things that makes St. Lucie County so great. There's not anybody out there saying, "Look at me." I mean, they're all working together, hand in hand, and doing what is necessary, from their perspective to keep this community safe. And it's comforting when you got kids and grandkids and everything else living in the community, knowing that it's one of the best communities around.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm sure there's law enforcement agencies or whatever that would say, I just don't have time to come out on that Saturday. We're trying to, arrest the bad guys and stuff, but there's so much more to law enforcement, to first responders, to all of that than just that.
They embrace the opportunity to interact with the public.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's one of the things you don't see in other communities.
Right,
right. And it goes right from the top of each of these organizations, from the sheriff and the chiefs, right down to the staff.
Oh, yeah.
They're all out there, and the smiles on their faces when they're interacting with the people, and they like talking about what they do. They like showing off, what they have.
They love what they do, and it shows.
That's exactly right. And how many opportunities do they actually get to go out and talk to the people about, what a SWAT team does or whatever, and see them in action.
Right.
And
well, let's end with the summary again. The date.
The 5th Annual Safety Festival is Saturday, April 27th at First Data Field, which is the home of the Mets. Starts at 9 o'clock in the morning and will run till at least 2 or thereafter. It's free parking, free admission, free kids' activities, bounce houses, things like that. Everybody's welcome to attend. If you want to be on site and participate, you can visit slcsafetyfest.com.
Great. Okay, thank you, Doug. It was wonderful.